Alright, so in this section, I'm going to go over choke and link. The way to get there, if you're not already there and your screen doesn't match up to what I'm seeing, just hit pad mode and you'll see choke and link over there. Alright, so first of all, choke and link. What are they and when are we going to use it? So choke, you're most likely going to be using choke with your hi-hats, alright? And that's because what choke does is as soon as you hit one pad, it silences the other. So specifically, let's say you have the open hi-hat. If you played on a drum set, you know that when you have the open hi-hat ringing and as soon as you hit your foot on the pedal and that hi-hat closes and you go back to your closed hi-hat, you know that open hi-hat doesn't make sounds anymore. As in, it doesn't sound like this. It doesn't sound like that on a real drum set. So if you want to make your drums more realistic, you can use choke for that. So, and which I'll show you how to do in just a sec. Now link. When would you use link? So what link does is when you hit another pad, instead of choking it out, it also makes it so that you hit another pad as well. So it's like you're hitting two pads with one. All right. So let's just say you have a beat where every time you hit the snare, the kick also gets hit. Even if you might be hitting the kick without hitting the snare, right? Maybe your beat sounds like this. All right. Took me a second to actually show you that, but you know what I mean, all right? So let's go ahead and set these up, all right? We're gonna start with choke first, all right? So the easiest way to do it is you'll see over here you got two things to choose from, groups and modes. Groups are completely different than this thing, all right? Don't even get this confused with that. They're two separate things. So you can set up a couple different groups over here, but pretty much choke is saying, hey, what group of pads do you want choke applied to? I want it to be related to these two pads over here. So we're gonna put, first of all, both pad number 3 and pad number 4 in the same group, these two hi-hats. All right. Now you'll see that you got two modes. You got send and you got receive. So which one's which? So what pad do you want to receive the choke? All right. We want the pad that has the open hi-hat to receive the choke, right? That's the pad that we want to choke out. I guess is another way to put it. So we're going to go ahead, have that in focus and put that on receive. That's the pad that's going to receive the choke when pad number 3 is the one going to be sending that choke. So this is receiving, that's sending. So here's what you'll see. All right. So now let's go ahead and link up the kick and the snare. All right. So again, these are going to be in a separate group. We're going to keep this to group, we'll put it to group 2. On each of these. Actually, we can go ahead and put them on group 1 because link and choke are separate from each other and they're not going to affect anything. All right. So you'll see again that we have, when you hit the kick, it hits the snare. When you hit the snare, it hits the kick. And that's because we haven't really set them up yet. All right, we put them in the same group, but we haven't made it, you know, one exclusive to the other. All right. So now when it goes to link, it's like, okay, what pad do you want to be linked up with the other one? We want to have the snare linked up with the kick, but we want to be able to hit the kick independently too. All right. So every time the snare gets hit, we want the kick to get hit, but we don't necessarily want it so that when we hit the kick, it also hits the snare. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the kick and we're going to go ahead and the kick is going to receive the signal from the snare that's going to send it. All right. So you'll see now that when we hit snare, the kick gets hit, but when we hit kick, the snare doesn't get hit. So you can sound like. All right. So there you have it. That's how to use choke and link. Super helpful for hi-hats. And if you find yourself using two pads together, you can use link with that and make your job a little bit easier. So go ahead, try it out, see if it fits in your workflow. If it does, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. But that is how you use choke and link.